Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another weekly recap. In the weekly recap, I like to go over any news related to the Oldschool Runescape community this week. Now we have gotten an update today, although it is pretty small. There are some minor changes to the Guardians of the Rift minigame, as well as to the Beneath Cursed Sands quest. However, on top of that, a Gilenor Gazette has come out for the month of April, and there's a lot of really interesting things in there that have never been mentioned before. So I want to pick a few things out of the Gazette that I find really exciting, and we're going to have a look at that as well, on top of anything else interesting in the community this week. Thanks for watching as always, guys. If you enjoyed the video, always appreciate a like on it, and let's get started. Now, before we dive into today's changes, I want to kind of address the elephant in the room here, and that is Poll 76, more so, where is it? We haven't received many of the changes from Poll 76 and none of the major ones for sure, and today is no different. There are no changes from that poll blog. However, Modlight has confirmed that the Elite Clue changes and the Hallowed Sepulchre changes are going to be coming out next week. They're all ready to go. They just have to pass one last final check, and we should see them next Wednesday. So as for today's game update, to start us off here, we have Guardians of the Rift changes. Now for the most part, these are smaller things and no major gameplay changes here. Now one of the larger quality of life changes this week is the Amulet of the Eye, which previously was a cosmetic item only. Now will give you infinite teleports to the Guardians of the Rift lobby. Now on top of that, the Amulet of the Eye, as well as the Lost Bag, can now be dyed with an abyssal red, blue, or green dye. So now the fashionscape potential is off the charts. Now these two items have also been added to the collection log, and if you already have them, they will retroactively be unlocked. And finally here, the collection log will now display the amount of rifts that you have closed. So across the board, just some nice quality of life changes. Now beyond the Guardians of the Rift changes, there are a few other smaller things as well. The Beneath Cursed Sands quest has received a few bug fixes and quality of life changes. Now the Chaos Partisan has had its slash bonus entirely removed. It went from plus 58 to minus 2. I think the reason for that is because it actually does not have a slash combat style, so you'd never be able to take advantage of it, making it kind of obsolete anyway. And they've made a few improvements to the Pharaoh's Scepter and the Shadow Boss from the quest. Now as of today, the Easter event has also been removed, so unfortunately if you missed it, it's gone until next year. There are a ton of small fixes here, but one that I find really interesting, and I'm not really sure exactly what they're getting at, is pickaxes no longer randomly accelerate mining by 1 tick in free-to-play worlds. I'm kind of interested to learn more about what that was, but I guess, well, that's all we have. And that is it for today's game update. So although we didn't get much in today's update, on April 29th we did get a Gilenor Gazette for April, and there is a ton I wanted to cover. But a few things in particular I want to pull out of here because it's really just a massive blog. If you want to read the whole thing, I would highly recommend it. So let's start with the big one here, the Tombs of Amascut. With the Beneath Cursed Sands quest coming out last Wednesday, when can we expect the next raid? Now so far they have not released a release date or even just a general release timeline or anything like that. Now previously they have said that the Tombs of Amascut will be coming out this summer, but to be more specific, it looks like they are looking for an August release. So I think it's almost certain that this is going to be a late summer release or maybe early fall. Now beyond working on all of the encounters, all of the boss fights, the dungeon, and all of the content that comes along with the raid, they're also looking to do a mini poll to address some of the feedback concerns regarding the raid unique items. Now while they have all passed the poll, not everyone seemed to be 100% happy with some of the rewards and had some concerns on how strong they would be and how they would fit into the meta. So this mini poll is going to help address some of that feedback. So I have to say that I am extremely excited for this update. This is going to be the first raid that I will be, high enough level and have enough PvM experience to even attempt on day one. I'm super excited to try it out, make some sick content for it, and maybe get some cool new items. But yeah, just cannot tell you how hyped I am for this update. Okay, so another interesting section here is the PvP arena. Now, as many of you know, all of their unique rewards for the PvP arena actually failed, which means as is, there is nothing to offer from this new content. Now Jagex states that given the results of the poll, it's clear that there's more work for us to do, and they're going to be talking about their next steps in a dedicated blog coming soon. So will they come up with a brand new set of rewards? Will they just implement a quick system? We'll find out soon, hopefully. Now another update that has received a fair bit of feedback is the Giants Foundry. Now, in case you weren't aware, the Giants Foundry is a new smithing update that's going to be coming out, I think, sometime this year. Now, I watched the live stream and was following most of the newly released information. Now, the Giants Foundry, as far as their original pitch, was meant to give around 60 to 70k per hour at the high end for smithing, while also being somewhat click intensive and only offering a few notable rewards, such as offering a cannonball mold that would make 8 at a time, smithing catalyst, which would make regular furnace smithing a bit better, and a Hill Giant Club ornament kit. Nothing too substantial. Now, there was a significant amount of feedback for this, saying that the rewards were pretty underwhelming and the experience rate was very underwhelming, considering that it was going to be pretty click intensive. Now, as of the last Q&A, they haven't really mentioned how they're going to be touching the XP rates, but they have mentioned some new items that they would like to introduce to beef it up a bit. The biggest one by far would be a smithing skilling outfit, or a smithing outfit of some sort, which the main perk would actually be to speed up anvil smithing, so it would go from a 3-tick action down to a 2-tick action, effectively making any anvil smithing significantly faster experience, which could actually shift up the meta a fair bit. So presumably we'll get more information on that soon, but for now we're gonna have to wait. Now, one thing I was really excited for when they first brought it up was quest speedrunning. Now, this hasn't really been mentioned since 2020, but quest speedrunning could be something that could really bring a more competitive element to questing in Old School. Now, quest speedrunning would work by placing you on a special speedrunning world, so this would not be using your initial profile, you wouldn't be running through the main game. This is obviously required so that you could speedrun the same quest over and over again, and also have a more controlled environment. At the launch, only a few quests would be available, but they would add more over time. Now, you'd be able to select a quest from your quest list, which would bring up a menu with details on unlocks and items provided, along with times to aim for. By hitting specific milestones, you would unlock trophies, it would give you some points. Now, the points that you unlock from speedrunning are not just for clout, but you'd actually be able to transfer them to the main game to be spent on snazzy new rewards. Now, I would presume that, although not mentioned, this would all be done on Ironman accounts, or maybe it wouldn't really matter because it's on a separate profile, but either way, a very cool looking update. Now, in the Gilenor Gazette, they also summarize all of the different pitches from the OSRS game jam. Now, we covered most of these, but a couple of them either I didn't find or came out after I made the video. So I thought I'd cover a couple here. Firstly, we have the Port Piscarilius rework. So it's finally time to breathe some new life into the area. Like some of the other reworks, this would see improvements to both the layout and visual style of the town, as well as improving some of the content in the area. Now, they would actually like to add in something new, the Port Piscarilius shipyard, which would add in a small crafting training method. Now, the shipyard is renowned all across Gilenor, and captains from all around the world come here for repairs and replacements. The shipyard always needs workers, and they're going to offer you a fair wage for your help. Now, a couple months ago, back in February, there was a poll that asked how people felt about some quests from the 2007 to 2011 era being ported into Old School Runescape, similar to how they did it with the Land of the Goblins, and the results are in. Now, the overall result is 84% of the people were positive with backporting pretty much all of these quests, and around 15% were neutral or negative. Now, the most popular quest by far was While Gothic Sleeps, but most of them got a fairly decent rating, with some of the lower medium tier quests getting a bit less of a positive reception, but still overall quite good. So what's going to happen next as far as quest porting? Well, it seems like this is a very long-term vision. They have loads of other stuff to do on our schedule, including some original OSRS quests. So the results of this survey is to affect long-term planning rather than anything immediate. Now, they would like to reiterate that the ported quests are not going to come at the expense of original OSRS content. This is just going to be something they can do on the side to help beef up the amount of content we get. Now, there's obviously a bunch of other content pitches in the Gilenor Gazette from Game Jam, but I covered quite a few of the major ones in a separate video, so if you want to watch that, I will leave a link in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the content update. I hope you guys found it useful as always. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Nello, Alejandra, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed to the Dragon tier. Really, I appreciate it so much. Also, a giant thank you to Kaitin987, Mexos, Base Titch, MDM001, and YoYoSub89 for being subscribed to the Runite tier. Appreciate you guys as well. As always, if anyone's looking for a direct way to support me, YouTube membership is the best way to do so. You'll get immortalized in all of my future videos, you can get a custom role on my Discord server, and you'll even know when all my videos are coming out. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.